Hi, I'm Gabriella, and for a long time I have been growing fruit and vegetables in any space available to me. But after a long, impatient wait, I have finally been given an actual allotment plot to call my own, the biggest growing space yet. Subscribe now to follow my upcoming series as I transform my space, try and feed the 5,000, and learn to relax. Direct sown beetroots have germinated. I've got about 3 to 5 in each little cluster. The soil is very dry and everything needs a really good water. Next door, the carrots are standing straight, which means they've taken well, and my sets are looking strong. The strawberries have established quite nicely and are sitting neatly in their rows. Loads of spinach has now germinated, and I'll be looking for their true leaves soon. No carrots yet, but probably about 50 peas have germinated, and the broad beans at the back are looking strong. Me and Jamie don't have grass at home, so it is a simple pleasure to watch her roll around enjoying herself, even when she falls into the pit that I have warned her about. But she is adorable. The right-hand side of this carrot bed is 5 weeks old and the left-hand side is 6 week old, germinated on tissue paper and direct sown. Now you think I would have taken down this frame before I'd done all my planting and digging and de-weeding, but I thought I could make use of it. I've decided against it purely because I can't quite get the netting round it, and I think I've bumped my head way too many times. So I've just dismantled each corner by unscrewing the screws, and then I'm putting a piece of timber across the center in order to keep the netting raised up. And you can see that I've got really good germination that I am very pleased with. I've got a line of little screws all the way around the edge of this box to keep the netting down against carrot root fly. I'm building another raised bed around the strawberries because the original one I built, I took over to cover the beetroots and broccoli. So I've just got a piece of 3x2 that I've used a little tape measure to measure equal sides, and then I'm using 1B12-inch timber, screwing using 2 screws, a piece of leg to either side, and then just bracing them up and screwing them in on the other 2 sides. Really simple, really easy, and a nice neat raised bed. A good water, and then netting over again to protect against birdies. When you enter my plot, on the right-hand side, I've got this huge space, about 15 foot long by 3 foot deep, that is just overrun with grass and weeds, and I can't quite tell what is there. So I'm heavily de-weeding this space in order to be able to plant some crops, probably some potatoes or maybe green beans. Every day that I come to the plot, I seem to bring something with me, whether it's timber, tools, equipment, compost, something. And it's just mounting up. So it's important to kind of stay on top of it, give it a good tidy up, and position things where they need to be put rather than letting it become a dumping ground. I have returned to this corner of the plot to carry on de-weeding as best I can. And I think I've come across an actual plant. I've dug this thing out that doesn't look like a weed, but it looks like it could be a flower of some kind. So I'm going to take it to the local garden centre and see if someone could identify it for me. And if not, then I've basically just travelled to a garden centre with a weed. With this beautiful weather, I was adamant that I was going to get as much weeding done as I could. But the soil had other ideas. It was so hard and so dense, I just couldn't get my fork in it. So I've gone around and de-headed all the daffodils, but closest to the rhubarb where the ground must be softer, I've dug up the roots as much as I can of the daffodils around the edging, and just be happy with the fact that I've got that much done. I've never had to use weed matting before in any of my other growing spaces. That's because I've always dug everything over. But this space here, I'm realizing I will not be able to spend my time constantly de-weeding. So I'm going to use the plastic that I've pulled off from the raised beds to cover as much of this ground as possible in and around the rhubarb to give me a fighting chance of killing them so that I don't have to spend all year looking after them when I should be pruning my plants.